Right now, Smart Means Business does continue. Now, today we did mention about Ugandan hotels being back to business, so seeking into business in regards to how, to a revelation by the Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, that is Honorable Hilary Onek, where he actually came out and stated that Ugandan hotels will benefit, will host, to put it right, will host these particular asylum seekers from Afghanistan that are over 2,000 Afghanistan refugees that will be landing in Uganda anytime from now. So that means this particular money that they will be getting will be from the US government. And what does this mean to the hotel industry in Uganda? Because if we are to mention the fact that a number of hotels have been having low sales turnover due to the pandemic, and since the government,
especially those around Entebbe, because there will be the host communities in Entebbe now, and I hope it being already, I can say, a middle class area, and then
the high class these days.
Okay, high class. So they are bringing for them high class people.
High class. No.
Why do you think? What is it? Why do you think they have chosen Entebbe? They have chosen Entebbe to host these refugees or to host these Afghans?
Entebbe is because it is a bit nearer. Though there are some
from
other
the
hotels
airport
that will be considered as well. At least
nearer for them to walk or for them to.
No, when you've just arrived, so that they can actually prevent them from even interacting with these natives here in Uganda, because most of the Ugandans have already shown anxiety in meeting the Afghans already.
Yes, and so, basically it's for Ugandans' own safety in regards to COVID-19, because these are new entrants coming into the country. So I think the location is okay in Entebbe, and also given the fact that maybe it has got security that is it's easier even to access in case anything happens. Evacuation from the country again is easier.
It's easier.
I think. And also when you look at areas of Entebbe, it's always it's an organized area. For example, the apartments, because when you look at the real estate in Entebbe, it's set up in a way mostly for apartment setting or real estate. I can say not
most
real
it's
estate,
a residential area.
Yes, but when you look at the setting, it's really organized. Should we say that the Afghans need organized places, or? But I'm not getting there. I'm not getting. I think where you're thinking from.
No, okay.
But for me,
as a person who comes from Entebbe Road, I'm not coming from Entebbe. I'm just excited with the fact that maybe we've been considered.
Okay, and what are some of the opportunities you're seeing even in the nearby places like Kajansi?
Now, the opportunities first, if we were to dig into the opportunities, you would clearly see that the markets near those areas are basically going to be having some business already. Why? Because now these hotels will need to have more facilities. And speaking of facilities, that means they're supposed to avail themselves with food. And according to the Minister, Honorable Hilary Onek, he did mention that the government, the US government, should not come with its own food.
They should again consume the hotel food. Of course, they will be consuming the hotel food.
Yes.
But if the hotel food is also coming along, that's why the minister was coming out to say, let the Ugandans feed, let the Ugandans cook. But now,
but in most cases, if you're going to these refugee camps, you'll definitely see that. Instead of saying in most cases it's single okugumya nti nfunye wembeera ewali safe. So kati emmere kasiteba nga si butwa, you'll definitely agree with the fact that it's good food for the locals, it is grown in the country, you'd have to accept it. N'olyako katono nawe, because what matters most is they are already alive now, they are safe. But when we talk about the business, it starts from omuntu okatali, the vendor. Nti omuntu obomanyi goine ennyanja z'obulungi zibeera fresh, oine ebirime byo, oine emmere ennungi, they are going to absolutely buy. These hotels are going to go and look for cheaper options. They have to buy to restock. So once they're restocking, so that means everyone in the neighboring community is earning from it. We even talk about the fishing, the fish market now, because remember in Entebbe, there are lake shores there, and people are already, the fishermen are already making money already, so they're going to be supplying to the hotel. So every business entity around there, more so dealing in terms of food, or the basic needs that we're talking about here, are basically going to be having market.
And I agree with you. And we're looking at 2,000 people, even more than 2,000 people coming to Entebbe area. And remember, Entebbe is not going to only host these 2,000 people. And I know, given that it's government, it's going to designate the hotels, or sure. It will get its own criteria. We do not know, the minister did not disclose on how Ugandan owners of these hotels can actually tap into such an opportunity, because to me it's an opportunity for them. Maybe government is going to dictate. We are yet to find out actually more detail on this report coming up, whether people are going to apply, the hotel owners, or government will dictate the designated areas. But also, where is it going to leave the other people? It is also going to create, a balance, I can say, because I know government won't, if it's going to say maybe Jorram Hotel is hosting a number of refugees, maybe 200. There is no way it's going, to let again other people, I can say, in this time they're outcasts now. If you're not a refugee, you're now an outcast in this case, and then you're coming to occupy that hotel. It's also giving opportunities for other hotels that have not been selling or have not been, getting business. Whether Jorram Hotel Bajitute, Rita's Hotel Bajitute, that means maybe Babu's Hotel is going to get picking up for the other people who are using Joram's Hotel. So, but we will also be following up on people, communities with Entebbe, on how they are soon, or how they are relating with, this upcoming expectations.
Prices may be hiked because Ugandans know how to read a situation, and in most cases, if they notice that the U.S. government is going to be funding these Afghans.
Of course, there is no I'm going to sell. U.S. government, we are dealing in dollars. Because the shilling is
it's a bit low, because I even remember in when the Sudanese were when we started having Sudanese coming into the country, you would see that most of the traders would sell separately. If a Sudanese has come for, let me say, a cloth that is maybe 40,000,
they double the price or triple the price,
because they know these people have money. They already have money into them. Something that has only changed with time, that the Sudanese have now actually spent some good years in Uganda.
How about you? Would you find it fair for these hotel owners to hike the price and take the dollar up?
Business wise, it's fair, because according to the business language, you're always there to you're supposed to tap into an opportunity and make sure you get something from it. But when it goes to the factors of humanity and or religious factors, you definitely feel it's not fair for you to actually, it becomes an injustice in a way that you do not hike a price for someone who's seeking asylum. Because literally they are
not the ones paying. So I think it's fair, because we're already predicting a hike of price in regards to this accommodation. And this one also comes after we have been, the whole week, the past week, we've been advocating for let Nambole be free. And that is one of the areas that were highlighted initially earlier. And then when, we came out to say, how about the activities that have been ongoing? I think the ministry found it ways, and people have advised it, I can say, effectively. You see now the step that it is taking. But we are not saying it's the final one. Because ministries change their statements. We are soon waiting for really what is happening around the hosting of over 2,000 refugees, where they will really be put. But for now, we're going with the Entebbe accommodation areas, but we do not know which hotels exactly. But we wish you all the best. If your uncle is operating a hotel in Entebbe, I wish them the best. If you're one of the business owners in Entebbe and maybe neighboring areas, because we may say Entebbe, but also neighboring areas may be considered, because business is going to be pushed closer.
Even the hotels in Kampala may be considered. More so maybe those that are not too busy. Because there are some hotels that are already busy when it comes to even the government meetings, and the government always opens up with them, and they may not be considered. But then it is not ruling out the fact that other hotels will also be considered in this particular opportunity. So it is actually up to the business owners, the hotel owners, to actually tap into this particular opportunity for you to definitely get yourself some profits out of these trying times that we're in, because now we're talking about the US government. So we're literally talking about millions of dollars coming to here in Uganda.
And just to conclude on this one, it's a temporary host. Do not look at these Africans coming as, you know, taking your bread and like the whole year. It's a temporary host according to the ministry. So for now, we're still determining it around 2 months, is it? Around 2 months, they will come for 2 months. That is what is still being highlighted, or, you know, that's what we know as for now. But the future is still remains untold, or remains unclear for when really they are going to be staying in these hotels for. But for now, we know 2 months, and we know that what is clear is that the US government is going to be catering for their services. Paul, what do we have next?
All right, now speaking about business and how Ugandans can definitely benefit, Algeria did open its market for Ugandan milk and coffee, and the sources said the milk, which is worth 500 million US dollars, will be exported to Algeria per year.
Okay.
Are we ready for this? Because I think according to this particular deal, it shows that Uganda is already capable of exporting milk worth 500 million per year.
For me, I think if we are organized, we can supply, we can really distribute and supply. Because when I last spoke to my mother, I think 2 months back, and then she was telling me, we don't even have where to sell the milk, because milk is in plenty, especially in Western Uganda. And this one makes the price, you know, go down. There are fluctuations, and that was 2 months back. But as you know, time goes on, the seasons change, so it depends on the seasons. Even I do not know if the deal shows upon the season, but when we are determined and when we organized, if government is able or is determined to get in touch with, for example, the Yellow Sea one at my own area, for example, how many people actually producing milk there, you may find that at the district they don't even know that my mother, we have capacity of, you know, supplying milk, and not only us, but how about even your area?
Maybe. And even because when you speak to a village setting, when you talk it to a village setting, people have capacity to supply a number of liters of milk. Because reason being is that the government does not overconsider them, and it looks at overlooking at the dairy farms, maybe when we speak up in Uganda here mainly. But then if you could clearly see a number of families in the villages have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 or 10 cows that can actually generate some liters of milk. And you would potentially tell by, if you go to any village in Uganda, you definitely, and you ask for a whereabout of where, because
they always know where to get
milk.
Where
you even find these milkmen who actually ride bicycles.
They're not called milk.
So you definitely tell that.
That's just my word, like people selling milk.
Okay, there's people who are telling they sell quality milk in the village, leave alone the milk that we have in the city areas.
Well, I'm not so I can't put my 100% on your statement, because they really business people are everywhere. You can opt, you know, to give that crude milk, like very, very thick milk, and then the person you're giving it to is not trustworthy. They will add in. So what quality are we going to be selling, and what quantity?
Now to the quality here, that means Uganda National, the UNBS actually has to tap into this one. We're speaking here in the fact that Uganda National
UNBS.
Yes, Uganda National Bureau of Standards. So you would definitely see that we would need them to clearly come into this and tap the standard of milk that we're going to export. Because this is a picture where we've been entrusted for 500 million US dollars per year. So that means there is an expectation of increasing and looking for other wider markets as well, leave alone Algeria. And so when UNBS comes into this, that means it's going to make sure that at least we get into a process where we need to export quality milk.
For me, it's a good really opportunity, Paul. When you look at even the government intervention of the PDM, the Polish development model, where it also highlighted milk as one of the commodities, you know, dairy as one of, you know, of the sectors where to tap into this one. But advocates have been coming out to say, if the government can provide market for the commodities, like Siatini, CS Bagao is coming out to say government should provide market for this for these commodities, and here is an opportunity. We have market now, but now again it comes back to us, like what are we going to be, you know, giving out to these people in terms of quality and quantity? If still the government does not put effort and organizational structure on how people are going to come out and say what this is the quality we need, how do we achieve it, this is how we are going to do it. How many farmers in Ruentonde village that are going to be producing for us, Paul, Rita, Babu are going to be producing for us? Where are you going to take it? Where is it going to be measured? It is going to be measured at maybe point, at this chairman's home, or at this particular area. We will be measuring the quantity you've brought and the quality. After that, where do we go next? We go to the district, or we go to this particular maybe rider or distributor. Then it comes out to maybe Kampala, and then it's transported or distributed. If the government is not organized on that, Paul, I tell you, we are rating on water, is it?
No.
Because we have had deals before, like take an example of our maize in Kenya, which was, you know, getting bounced back. Thank God now we're okay. But not only...
We did not look at the quality, I think.
Not only even maize, look at the seeds that were, you know, China was, the CS seeds that were always, you know, people, Uganda is chasing for the market there, and China is like, no, hold on, because we are not trusting really the market, I mean the quality that you're bringing, and the quantity still. So to me, it's a great deal, but how are we going to implement it? Like I said earlier, if government does not look onto that, or the implementers, we're still going to have a problem.
Yeah, sure, we're going to have a problem, because it is a money deal, and when it comes to money deals in Uganda mainly, the local farmer does not benefit in most cases. The person who actually brings up something from the root cause, you would say that only the policy maker who has actually signed the deal will greatly benefit from the deals. And because we will talk about the qualities and whatever, but you will notice that on a village setting, if you were to follow all those proceedings, things will be okay. But the biggest challenge would be, how are you going to keep these people motivated?
Okay.
Because remember
sustainability plan.
Yes, for these people, because you put them on pressure to make sure they actually produce.
And they produce for 1 year or
for 1 year, and then why? But you need to motivate them. How? Make sure that if at all you know the dealer has money into it, make sure you're also giving them that money that can actually sustain them as people, that can keep them motivated. And in most cases, these people don't need too much money. But the money they need is money that can actually cater for their cattle, money that can definitely cater for maybe their families as well. But you will tell that they will never be considered after maybe a government policy holder or someone behind the deal will actually be tapping in more money. Maybe speaking of $500 million US, you find out that out of that 500 million, the farmers across Uganda would be earning around 100 million, and it won't be enough for them to facilitate themselves, because remember, agriculture is a very funny sector in that it needs a lot of input. Even if the government is not considering it, you will need a lot of input if you want high quality produce. You will need a lot of input even in the dairy farms. You would say that these particular cows take a lot of time. First, you need the feeding. The feeding is really necessary to produce quality milk. Feeding is necessary, medication, and those are some of the things the government should also look at.
Because we now have got regulations on that, and you find that the prices are actually high to ascertain those particular services. So why we're saying is the policy making should also, you know, change and, you know, be favorable for these particular people in regards to production. I don't know, maybe you will need to check out your phone on something if they need to communicate on us. But basically, I can say that is what we can bring out for and advocate. But still, moving forward on SMB, we're still mourning, the country is still mourning for the loss of Major General Okage. that has succumbed apparently to a blood clot.
Oh, and it was actually sad news over the weekend that the Lion of Mogadishu did fight his last battle, which is always life, because life is the most treasured thing that we have, an item. I won't even call it an item, or the most treasured asset, if I'm to put it in that way, that we always have.
I think it's the most precious, the most precious entity, like having a life, and when you lose it, you're no more. Like that means you have gone, you're gone. What you have accomplished, you have accomplished it. And for me, what I am learning from Major General Lokech's service is that, because he had already spent like 8 months in this new assignment that he had.
Yes, what actually hurt me most is that the fact that someone did not even spend a year in office as the deputy IGP.
But he had already done at least.
Okay, he had played his part, but in this part of the police side, he had not had a very good. He had not spent a year in the office, and then also reports coming in that he had actually spent 4 months in his new house also. So you could tell of how much.
If Babu, we could have that footage of Major General Lokech
to clearly show us more of his battles in Somalia and how he actually came out to be known as the Lion of Mogadishu. So, and by the way, most of the people who have been close to him know him as a simple man, and according to the natives of Boyogere, where he was staying before he actually shifted. That is when he landed his new office as the deputy IGP in Boyogere. They actually said that he actually, after just coming into Boyogere, he had to go and to the chairman's office to register himself as a new resident, which actually the residents in that particular area said it was a shock to them that someone of a high ranking.
Yes, and you can see him there. He has really played a very important role towards security and maintaining peace. You have had him fighting in Mogadishu, but also an entity that for me personally, that I have, I can live to remember him for is when you see him, when like the pictures you're seeing around there, those are like the current looks he had before him passing on. And what you see is there, actually he was making 59 years. He was 59, but you can't really.
Sixth floor.
Yes, you cannot really relay that on him. We see a gentleman around there. I'm sorry to say, in case it's going, to affect anybody, but for me, it's maintaining even our health, maintaining
he doesn't
our.
Look to be a 59-year-old.
He does not. Yes. 50 does not look on him.
He looks like someone who is below 50 years.
Yes, and for me, yes, I'm bringing up the years that's on a way to motivate other people, even when we are doing service, even when we are, laying our hands on the kind of work we do. Look at the soldiers in the country. I mean, some of them look to be even 60, but they're even maybe 30 or something. And I'm not judging anyone around here, but I am. This is a lesson to us, even as gentlemen or ladies, on how we even take care of ourselves. So we continue to say rest in peace, Major General Lokech, and I hope surely everything is okay, and we still continue to mourn with the family of the deceased around there.
All right, and we definitely hope that God heals the hearts, because it's the Almighty God that will definitely have his last say when it comes to that. And the police has actually lost another key person in their management or in their administration, and we do hope that we will definitely find another replacement or someone who can actually fit into the shoes of the just deceased IGP General Loket.
And yes, and also one of the latest remembrances that are coming through is that, you know, he was spearheading the case of the attempting murder of General Katumba. But everything will be surely okay as the country continues to mourn the loss of the Major General and also hard-working person in the country. We measure hard work from the things you relay in a very short period of time. And my name is Rita Kabanyoro with Jorram Paul Ssonko here in case you've just joined in. And surely now we're signing off, and coming up will be Yuji Tukole. But from us here, I can say from me, what I have learned this particular day is that as we're living in communities, Jorram, destiny of our communities should always be defined by the communities, not by implementers.
All right.
That's for me.
Okay. And my week, I will definitely sum it up in a way that we have a great week ahead. It is a new week for everyone to learn something new. Because we've actually been giving tips where you're supposed to learn something new that adds up to you as a person. And clearly to all the viewers out there, this week ahead that we're just starting up should add something to you as a person and also to your business entity as well. I'm Jorram Paul Ssonko.
Very well. This is SMB. Coming up, Yuji Tukole.